Hello friends, today we're going to be doing Skills 5, Lesson 11. Throughout today's lesson, we're going to see these learning targets. I can isolate the t sound at the beginning and end of oral words. I can read and write words with t spelled ed, t, and tt. I can sort words by the spelling of t. I can double final consonants as needed when adding affixes to root words. I can distinguish between statements, questions, and exclamations in oral sentences. I can spell and write 1- and 2-syllable words with j spelled J, G, and GE, and the tricky word your. Today, we're going to review the t sound as in top. Say t with me. T, t, t. Is t a vowel sound or a consonant sound? It is a consonant sound. Close your eyes and listen as I read you a tongue twister. Tim told Tina not to twist and turn. What sound did you hear most often? T. Now listen as I read the tongue twister again. When you hear the t sound, raise your hand. Tim told Tina not to twist and turn. Now I want you to repeat the tongue twister after me. Tim told Tina not to twist and turn. Now we're going to review the spellings for t. We've learned that t can be spelled with a T, as in the word top. When we look at this spelling card, what does the power bar tell us? The power bar tells us that T is a very common spelling for the t sound. Let's look at some other words that have t spelled T. Truck, sit. We've also learned that the t sound can be spelled with TT, as in the word sitting. When we look at this power bar, what does it tell us? This power bar tells us that TT is not a very common spelling for the t sound. Let's look at some other words that have t spelled TT. Kitten, bitter. We've also learned that t can be spelled ED, like in the word asked. The power bar on this spelling card tells us that the spelling ED is not a very common spelling for the sound t. Let's look at some other words that have the t sound spelled ED. Part, bait. Now, turn in your Skills 5 workbook to activity page 11.1 on page 51. Write your name and date at the top of the paper. The words in this box contain the t sound spelled T, TT, or ED. Let's read the words together and underline the spellings for the t sound. The first word is time, time. The t sound in time is spelled with a T. The next word is until, until. The t sound in until is spelled with a T. The next word is sit, sit. The t sound in sit is spelled with a T. The next word is truck, truck. The t sound in truck is spelled with a T. The next word is cut, cut. The t sound in cut is spelled with a T. The next word is bait, bait. The t sound in baked is spelled ED. The next word is bitter, bitter. The t sound in bitter is spelled TT. The next word is cutting, cutting. The t sound in cutting is spelled TT. The next word is part, part. The t sound in part is spelled ED. The next word is sitting. Sitting. The t sound in sitting is spelled TT. The next word is ripped. Ripped. The t sound in ripped is spelled ED. The next word is hoped. Hoped. The t sound in hoped is spelled ED. Now, I want you to take these words and sort them into the right column based on their spelling. So if the t sound was spelled with a T, like in the word time, you're going to put it in the first column. If the word had a spelling for t that was TT, you're going to put it in the middle column, like the word bitter. If a word had the t sound spelled ED, like in the word baked, you're going to put it in the last column. Let's check our work. The word time should have gone in the T column. The word until should have gone in the T column. The word sit should have gone in the T column. The word truck should have gone in the T column. The word cut should have gone in the T column. The word baked should have gone in the ED column. The word bitter should have gone in the TT column. The word cutting should have gone in the TT column. The word parked should have gone in the ED column. The word sitting should have gone in the TT column. The word ripped should have gone in the ED column. The word hoped should have gone in the ED column. Now, let's talk about some patterns we may have noticed when sorting these words. T is the most common spelling for the t sound. Some words changed from T to TT when suffixes are added. And the ending ED is used at the end of words to mark past tense. Now let's look at the back of our activity page. This chart lists words with common spelling patterns for the t sound. The words in the first column are called root words. These are words to which endings can be added. We encountered the suffixes ER and EST when we read the Green Fern Zoo. The ending ER shows more of something and the ending EST shows most. Let's look at the first row of words that they did. The root word was wet. When we add ER to wet, the new word is wetter. When we add EST to wet, the new word is wettest. Remember that when a suffix is added to a single syllable word with a short vowel sound followed by a single consonant, we double the final consonant. Now let's complete the rest of our chart. The first root word is hot. When we add ER to hot, the new word is hotter. When we add EST to hot, the new word is hottest. The next root word is short. When we add ER to short, the new word is shorter. When we add EST to short, the new word is shortest. The next root word is fit. When we add ER to fit, the new word is fitter. When we add EST to fit, the new word is fittest. The next root word is round. When we add ER to round, the new word is rounder. When we add EST to round, the new word is roundest. Now, let's look at our learning targets again. I can isolate the t sound at the beginning and end of oral words. I can read and write words with t spelled ED, T, and TT. I can sort words by the spelling of t. I can double final consonants as needed when adding affixes to root words. I can distinguish between statements, questions, and exclamations in oral sentences. I can spell and write 1- and 2-syllable words with J spelled J, G, and GE, and the tricky word your. We have learned about two types of sentences, questions and statements. A statement is a sentence that tells you something. A question is a sentence that asks something. I like to run. Do you like to run? Let's look at the first sentence again. I like to run. This sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a period. Let's look at the second sentence again. Do you like to run? This sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a question mark. This type of sentence is a question because it asks us something. Sentences that are questions end with a question mark as punctuation. Think of a statement and a question and tell someone next to you. We are now going to learn about another type of sentence. Sentences with strong emotions, such as excitement, frustration, joy, or fear, end with exclamation points. A sentence with an exclamation point is often read in a louder tone than other types of sentences. This is an exclamation point. We have already seen this punctuation in our reader, and now we can use the exclamation point when writing sentences to show strong emotions. Let's practice identifying sentence types. I'm going to read some sentences, and I want you to decide if it's a statement, question, or exclamation, and whether it should end with a period, question mark, or exclamation point. I will go to the store today. A statement, and it should end with a period. Watch out! An exclamation, and it should end with an exclamation point. Can I eat this cake? A question, and it should end with a question mark. Have you ever been to Spain? A question, and it should end with a question mark. I loved that movie. An exclamation, and it should end with an exclamation point. We can go outside to play. A statement, and it should end with a period. It's snowing. An exclamation, and it should end with an exclamation point. Now, let's practice adding the right punctuation mark. Let's look at these sentences. As we read each sentence, we're going to talk about what kind of punctuation mark we should add at the end. Number 1, Kate's mom and dad went on a trip. This is a statement, so we need to add a period. Number 2, where did Kate spend last summer? This is a question, so we need to add a question mark. Number 3, was it a boring summer for Kate? This is a question, and we should add a question mark. Number 4, Kate had a lot of fun. This is an exclamation, and we need to add an exclamation point. Kate got a Spanish coin from a cave is number 5. This was an exclamation, and it needs to end with an exclamation point. Now, turn in your Skills 5 workbook to activity page 11.2 on page 53. Write your name and date. At the top of the activity page, trace and copy the exclamation point, question mark, and period. For the rest of the activity page, we're going to write the correct punctuation in the box at the end of the sentence. Then we're going to rewrite each sentence, remembering that a sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with a proper punctuation mark. Number 1, Nan, what is that? This is a question, so we need to add a question mark. Copy the sentence on the lines below, remembering we need a capital letter at the beginning of our sentence. Number 2, that sounds like fun. We need an exclamation point. Copy the sentence on the line below. Remember that a sentence needs to start with a capital letter. Number 3, what sort of coin is it? We need a question mark. Copy the sentence on the lines below. Remember, a sentence starts with a capital letter. Number 4, it is a Spanish coin. We need a period. Copy the sentence on the lines below. Remember, a sentence starts with a capital letter. Now, let's go to the back of our activity page. Number 5, when was the coin made? We need a question mark. Copy the sentence on the lines below. Number 6, the coin is from the 1600s. We need a period. Copy the sentence on the lines below. Yippee! I shouted. We need an exclamation point. Copy the sentence on the line below. Number 8, I am rich. We need an exclamation point. Copy the sentence on the lines below. Let's look at our learning targets again. I can isolate the t sound at the beginning and end of oral words. I can read and write words with t spelled ed, t, and tt. I can sort words by the spelling of t. I can double final consonants as needed when adding affixes to root words. I can distinguish between statements, questions, and exclamations in oral sentences. I can spell and write 1- and 2-syllable words with j spelled J, G, and GE, and the tricky word your. Let's go over our list of spelling words to practice this week. The spelling words this week have the j sound spelled J, G, and GE. Our first word is jumping, Jumping, jumping. Our next word is jars, Jars, jars. Our next word is germ, Germ, germ. Our next word is gym, Gem, gym. Our next word is magic, Magic, magic. Our next word is charged, Charged, charged. Our next word is fringe, Fringe, fringe. Our last word is a tricky word. Remember, tricky words do not follow the rules, so you have to memorize their spellings. Our tricky word this week is your, Y-O-U-R, your. Now let's look at our homework. Turn in your Skills 5 workbook to activity page 11.3 on page 55. On this page, you will see words that have spelling alternatives for the ch and j sounds. Practice reading these words and using them in sentences. For extra spelling practice, write each word 3 times. For your list of words, you can turn to 11.4 in your Skills 5 workbook. Let's go over our learning targets one last time. I can isolate the t sound at the beginning and end of oral words. I can read and write words with t spelled ed, t, and tt. I can sort words by the spelling of t. I can double final consonants as needed when adding affixes to root words. I can distinguish between statements, questions, and exclamations in oral sentences. I can spell and write 1- and 2-syllable words with spelled J, G, and GE, and the tricky word your. Happy learning!